Hey guys, before we get started today, we were in Indianapolis, Indiana last week for IndyPopCon, and we had the awesome chance to interview Nolan North with a crowd around us, and it was a lot of fun. But
yeah, so the audio didn't come out quite as good as we would have liked.
It didn't come out anywhere near as close to what we would have appreciated. But
So it's a little hard on the ears, but you can still, if you concentrate, tell what's going on. And
it's going to be an active listening.
Yeah, it was a really great conversation, though.
Yeah, the thing is we didn't want to trash this. We wanted to make sure that you guys had a chance to see it because it was very interesting. He had a lot of good things to say about the voiceover industry and his career as a whole, so we didn't want to trash it.
Yeah.
We just wanted to make sure that you guys knew that we're sorry, it wasn't our fault. We weren't controlling the production of this. We just kind of showed up and did it. In the future, now that this has happened, we will take steps to make sure that it's handled better now that we've experienced what can go wrong. So it's a learning experience, but also it's a great podcast and a great conversation we had.
It's our first live podcast. I think it went well, aside from the audio issues. And Nolan North, he's a real peach.
He's a lovely man.
So enjoy.
There you go.
Try to enjoy.
They love popcorn. We learned so much. Everyone already heard it.
That echo is incredible.
Love it.
This room is way too big.
I feel like Donald Trump right now. This is great. But only the good parts, which I guess there's not many.
Well, we've got great hair, big hands.
Yeah, our hands are way bigger than Donald Trump's. We confirmed that last night.
We win and win.
Yeah, it's great.
You're all about to win because we have a very special guest joining us on stage today for a very special live inside the voice actor studio with James Lipton. His name is Nolan North. And,
everybody knows
if
Nolan
you've
North.
played any video game in the last 10 years or watched any animated show in the last 10 or 15 years, you've heard his voice before.
The man is prolific, and he has a stranglehold on the entire voice acting community.
So please welcome Nolan North.
Nolan North. Nobody can get work because of Nolan North.
Stranglehold.
Yeah.
Stranglehold.
So, I mean, obviously we want to start off and kind of set it up for everyone. How did you get started in voice acting and acting in general?
Well, acting in general was, I was a reporter. I'd done everything. I was a reporter in New York, New Jersey, and kind of hated it. And I had friends who were doing theater in New York, and I had done a play in college, and they said, "Hey, you should." So I went and did one, and I had a blast. And then I used to, I did some stand-up, so I started doing that again. And while I was still moonlighting as a reporter, and then finally I just said, I'd rather be broke and happy than have. I was making a crappy living anyway from doing that. So I was like,
New Jersey local news doesn't pay the bills?
At the time it did not.
Yeah.
So I started doing theater. I did it for a couple of years in New York, and then I thought, well, maybe I should go to school for this or do something. And my friend, we got drunk one night. He just like, nah, go to California. They don't care if you have a shitty resume.
Yeah.
And which I did. Shitty resume. And I went and I was there about 6-7 months, and I got a job on a daytime show, a soap opera.
Yeah.
And which was ridiculous. I was like, hey, but I got to play like the prick lawyer, prick doctor, Because I didn't have that barrel chest. I was just that guy, the devious guy. So.
What was the soap opera
It was called Port Charles. It was my first job.
Oh, I remember that.
Yeah. So.
Only 90s kids remember Port Charles.
Yeah.
Literally.
A lot of you were conceived.
To that show.
To that show.
They're like, how many people are named Nolan out there? I think
No. Or Chris, right?
Yeah.
No, but and then when that show went off the air, it was just I was married, I had a son, and we were like the second one on the way. And
Happy Father's Day.
Yeah, thank you.
By the way, call your parents.
Yeah.
Make sure to call your parents.
Not your parents, your father.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Forget about your mom. It's your dad.
It's Dad's.
She had her day.
Well, anyway, so and a friend of mine, he just said you should try, all the goofy voices that I did between takes and everything. They're like, and the accents, and they're like, you should try that. My wife kept pressing, she said, yeah, do it. And I got with an agent who was still my agent to this day, and off to the races.
So what was the first voice acting gig that you got after Port Charles?
think,
You've done so many.
Well, the thing is, no, I know the first game. I had done something before, even before Charles, called Interstate 82. It was an Activision game, and I did like a Christopher Walken for these guys, right? Just started talking like this. All right, his name is Hinckley, and we did it like on a weekend. And I remember driving to Activision. I didn't even know there were voices in games at this point. And there was like an empty parking lot, and they were like, yeah, and there's nobody there, and it's dark, and I'm like, I'm gonna get murdered.
Yeah.
But I'm gonna be murdered in this building in Santa Monica. This is gonna happen. But no, we did that. But when I was officially doing this, it was Maximo in the Army versus the Army of Sin, and I played the Baron. And that was like the first through an agent kind of job that I had, and nobody at the time, nobody in voice acting wanted to do games. They like, why go? There's no residuals, and you're gonna yell grenade and get down. Who cares? And I'm like, you got kids and broke.
That's why.
Really like to. Yeah. They're gonna like if somebody told you there's 700. I think it was $700 at the time. There's $700 in an envelope, 30 minutes away, and you have to go yell for 4 hours.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
I will do that. I'll do that every day. And that's, that it became as simple as that. It was just, I was just the guy who would do it and not complain, and I could yell for hours, ask my kids. And next thing you know, it's like, oh, you're a pioneer in voice acting. I'm like, I am? It just means I'm old.
But it is pretty remarkable how many games you've done, and it's pretty much you, Troy Baker, and Mark Hamill, run this.
Mark has another little side gig.
Yeah, just very small.
Very small. That's Skywalker or something.
Yeah. Well, and the Joker as well.
But yeah, were you conscious that a bigger and bigger part of your career was becoming video games specifically, or did it kind of happen gradually?
Yeah, well, I think I started doing more and more, and I really enjoyed them. People people have said, well, do you want to move into animation? It's like, I do 11 cartoons right now. I mean, I'm doing a bunch of stuff, but it was never like, and people then said, oh, you've done all the voiceover, you're going to move into more on-camera? It's like, well, I do 2 on-camera shows. I mean, they're like, what? Nobody knows the different, but it's like asking a plumber, can you fix my kitchen sinks? I only do toilets.
Yeah.
It's like, why would you limit yourself? As an actor, if there's any doors open to income, and you enjoy it, then why not? I became aware, especially with Uncharted, which was kind of brought back the roots in New York, doing theater and just better paid than theater in New York. But it kind of was when that game took off, and then all these others kind of took off, and then I was being requested on things. That was pretty cool. And then when they would like, oh, we don't need him to audition, we just like him to do this. Then you're like, oh. But overall, I think the voice acting side of the acting, people always ask me, let me qualify this, how do you become a voice actor? I said, well, it's acting. And Mark, even we were texting about this, because he gets this all the time. You want to be a voice actor, be an actor first. Do theater, you have to do improv classes, do these things where and then just because if you do funny voices, if you can't act with that, then it's kind of, my uncle could do cool voices, but he put them in front of people, he'd be like,
We spoke with
Tom
Kenny about it, and he was saying that there are a lot of people that can do great voices, people come up to him and do SpongeBob all the time, but he's like, but you have to live as SpongeBob when you're in this thing, and you have to be able to have any conversation in that voice, not just
sing.
Sing.
SpongeBob sings, and it's the. I used to, be able to do like this little, oh, Winnie the Pooh for my kids, just with them, and then you talk with Jim Cummings, and Jim will sit there and he'll do it, and you're like,
oh, that's the real guy.
Oh, and it's like, there's a depth, there's a warmth. It's not just the way the voice sounds. It's more than that.
Were there people that you looked up to when you were growing up on cartoons that you were like, wow, that person, you went and found out who it was that was doing that voice? And
but I never thought I'd do this. And I grew up in New England. I grew up in Rhode Island, and it's like, actors. I mean, we thought people in California were just granola eating hippies.
They still are, I love granola.
Yeah, now I have 2 kids. I'm almost upset that my kids are California boys.
No, it's great. It's a lovely state.
It is. It's a big state.
But so is Indiana.
And it's broke. And it's no rain. We don't know what rain is anymore.
Yeah.
No, but people say, did you always want to do voices in video games? But I played combat. I mean, there were no voices in Tetris. I mean, you don't have it.
Yeah. I was the blip in Pong.
Yeah, exactly. I could have done that.
Yeah. You should go back and re-record it.
Exactly. But the thing about it is, it's just it's not something that I even thought was a career. You know, you didn't know that this was something that was possible. You know, so I just became an actor, and then the game. I was the right place at the right time, doing these kind of things with games, and then games became more sophisticated and more cinematic, and now it's a great. And now that you get people like Gary Oldman doing, Kevin Spacey doing, so it's a little bit more legitimized.
Yeah, and like you started in like those Activision games and stuff, but with Uncharted at least, you do the motion capture and stuff as well. So like, how was that to get used to? Like you're walking around with a bunch of ping pong balls on you.
It's a little more sophisticated. Not much.
Yeah.
But a little more. No, it was fine. Like I said, it was like doing theater. There's something called black box theater where there's very minimal props. It's all about the interaction to watch. Yeah. Like, it's for those people who are like, yeah, this is the art of it, whatever. But it's a lot like that. And the great thing about it is you're working with other actors. You're listening. You're responding to other people like Graham McTavish. He played Dwalin in The Hobbit. He's an Outlander. He's in everything. And a lot of people ask me like, what's your favorite Uncharted? Well, it's like Uncharted 2 was my favorite to play, but 3 was like a family reunion because we were a hit. And Graham, who played Lazarevich in Uncharted 2, played Cutter in 3 because he and I became such good friends. They ended up writing him as one of Drake's buddies.
Bring him back.
So we brought him back. Yeah, you bring a guy that talented back.
Yeah.
But it was such a great job with motion capture because it incorporated everything that I had learned over time and everything I love to do. So it was a nice little balance of everything.
We do have some Twitter fan questions. So
This is from at BlackZar0630. Great, that's a confusing name. He asked, what do you love most about the job?
The overall job?
Yeah, of being an actor, I guess. Yeah.
Being Nolan North.
Being Nolan North. What's the best part about being Nolan North?
I don't know. I guess anybody answer that. There's not a lot of good things about it. The best part of being doing this job is the people I get to work with usually, and the things I get to do. You were talking about like who I looked up to. When I got into the business and when I started doing voiceover, I'm like, oh well, the brain, that was Maurice LaMarche. Wow, he's great. I was like, oh, it's Frank Welker. Everybody knows Frank Welker. And then you start meeting. I remember when Jim Cummings, who's Tigger and Pooh, and you're like. And I remember my agent telling me, "Oh, Jim Cummings loved what you did with that." I'm like, Jim Cummings knows who I am. and now, I saw Maurice. We did a series called Robot and Monster together, and Rob Paulson. These geniuses, and Kevin Michael Richardson. And you start meeting these people, and then all of a sudden you realize you're working with them all the time, and then you're texting, and then you go to Barbie and you're hanging out, and you're like, oh, I'm part of the group.
Yeah.
And it just sort of sneaks up on you, but you could put me at a table with that group, and I'd still be the one going, and then you realize, oh wait, I'm old enough, and I've done this long enough now. And they laugh, like Maurice goes, you're good, you're here. And I'm like, I don't know, you're the brain.
Can you sign this?
Yeah, exactly. And he charges me.
That'll be $25.
So it's, the best part is just becoming contemporaries and good friends with people who are kind of your heroes. It's bizarre. I don't know if I'll ever get used to it. I don't know if I ever want to get used to that.
It's still exciting, I'm sure.
It is. And that's the other great thing about the voiceover part of the business is we're all fans of each other. And, people will do the voice like Tara Strong the other night, she said something in like a character voice, and I was like, ooh. You're like, how does that come out like that? And you sound like a little boy. That's just so crazy.
Yeah.
It's just, it's a blessed place. It's very, very cool.
Yeah.
What's your favorite voice out of all the roles you've done?
That I've done, my favorite voice?
Yeah. Your favorite one to just talk to yourself with in the shower?
I think there might be two separate ones. Inside and outside of the
No, I don't know. When I first started getting noticed, a bunch of games came out when nobody paid attention to voice acting. Really, I mean, you didn't really. I always thought good voice acting is when you didn't notice the performance and just was a good part of your experience playing. And this is just particularly in gaming. So in gaming, one of my favorite voices was the Penguin in the Arkham series, because nobody knew it was me when I got to do it like that, and I have to squint the eye because you got the Coke bottle in there. So when I got to do that would, everyone's like, oh, that's him. It's like, oh, he's in everything. He's Desmond, he's Drake. He did that stupid Prince of Persia game. He sounds the same, he has no range, and they're like, oh, he's Penguin.
Yeah.
And then we did Sigmund and Ratchet and Clank, and it's, oh, sure, and he went up there.
And it was like, oh, that's not him. Oh, that is him? And it was like, oh, yeah. Like a big,
Shut down the haters.
finger. Yeah, there you go. See, I can do that. But the great thing about it, like especially in animation, when we go into it, they'll just give you a piece of artwork, and you're like, maybe he talks like this,
Yeah.
And you have to find the character. And literally, the guy, the producer in the back, going, yeah, let's go with that. And you're like, do that little boss next. All right, oh my God, we're gonna go there. So and you kind of piece it together sometimes at the session, which is fun. It's just like, you're just riffing with your friends and then read the script that way.
With characters like Desmond and Nathan, like those are pretty close to how you normally talk. Like, is there anything?
Desmond was always, I said Desmond Miles was just Nathan Drake with a shitty attitude. My name is Nathan Drake, and this is my pal Sully. My name is Desmond Miles, and this is my story. It's like, so it's like a depressed Drake. Oh, my dad, Sturgo. But this is at a time we did those beginning. Nobody knew, there was no such thing as Uncharted 1, right? I mean, we did Drake's Fortune, and nobody cared if we did it. And then they came out at the same time, and both those franchises blew up, and you're like, oh, he sounds like everything.
Stop looking at the comments.
Why do you hate my show?
You can't read the comments.
Can't read the comments.
I don't.
Yeah, good.
I do, but I'm like, all right.
Yeah.
I learned a long time ago, if you believe all the good things people write about you, you have to equally believe the bad things. So I was like, oh. They cancel each other out, and you realize, I'm gonna go make a sandwich.
Yeah. Go on.
If anyone has any criticisms for Nolan North, feel free to stand up and say it to his
So
face.
if I ruined your game, I'm sorry. If I made it, I'm sorry.
So,
Sorry.
speaking of using all those voices and kind of having to build them like that, what one sticks out to you as the most challenging? Like when you were presented it, like you really had to go the extra mile to figure out what it was going to be.
I'd love to tell you this. It's very difficult. I've lost my voice only once in a session, and I had to take some time. There was a Call of Duty way back when where I did like this Russian in style or something. And his name, he's always yelling, Vasily, get down, credit! And he's doing it. Oh, wow, that's really hard. and because I decided to do it like this so it sounds like he's been raspy, that's very much in your throat, and I didn't think about ahead of it 4 hours of screaming like that. I'm sorry, I can't do this anymore. Can we stop? No, I don't want this feeling. It's gone. And so that was one, and then there's another one that I did. Okay, the most challenging one right now, and it's only done like once a year through Valve. It's Marasmus for the Team Fortress. And Marasmus, it's kind of like a Vincent Price, and he's crazy. Marasmus has debts to the Russian mafia, and it's yelling, and it's big, long paragraphs of dialogue. and I'm literally almost in a full sweat by the end of that because you have to support it as much as you can. So you're really using your. I know it sounds funny, but it's just I don't know why I auditioned like that.
You're making it harder on yourself.
And I'm trying to make things easier.
Now, I'm trying to find things that are more like this.
Yeah.
Easy listening. The easy listening station.
I'm Casey Kasem.
Casey Kasem on America's Top 40. This one goes out to Nolan. He writes, "Dear Casey, would you please play I Touch Myself by the Diviners?"
You should just take over the show now.
What show?
I'm doing a show.
This is the radio show that Casey Kasem count down the top 40.
No.
Okay. Let his legacy.
I would be just sit in a room, no way.
Yeah. So, at Owen Forner wants to know, and I'll kind of lead off on this at the end. In the end of Saints Row 4, the songs that are sang by the cast, was each member there or was it recorded separately? And I know that in a lot of like cartoon stuff, people are in the same room, or not in the same room, but you can kind of see each other and play off each other. Is it like that in games?
Not with Saints Row. That was kind of funny because they called me. They said, "We want you to be one of the player characters." I'm like, "Okay, well, I've done that before." They go, "No, we want you to be an actual playable character."
Yeah.
I didn't understand. They're like, "It's male player 1, male player 2, female player 2, and then Nolan North." I'm like, "What?" And my agent was like, "You want his likeness?" And she's like, "This is what it's going to cost." And they were like, "No problem." And I'm like, "They said no problem?" But it was kind of cool because it was the first time that my likeness, it was an honor because it's just a crazy game.
Yeah.
And but the funny part about that is I had to. It's very strict guidelines when you're doing the player character that's already been recorded. I think Laura Bailey was the first person who recorded. Anybody else who's playing one of those players had to match. Like if she said a sentence in 5.4 seconds, you have to say that in 5.4 seconds, right around there. So, we have to get to the car, whatever the line is. And that's when it got to the end of that game when I was just we're recording lines. You sip me coffee, just do anything, and then you hear her say a line. It's like, "That's why I love you, Jack." That's why. Wait a minute, what? And every character has the same dialogue. So I remember just reading these lines, going, "Oh, I should have asked for more money," because it went zany in a hurry.
And so, was there any games that you did it for where there was the other voice actors in the room and you guys got to play off of each other? And
yeah. Well, they did Call of Duty, the zombie levels one time with Tom Kane couldn't be there, but Fred Tatasciore plays Nikolai, and Steve Bloom who plays Dempsey. And the session should have taken 2 hours. We were there for 5 because we just kept goofing around, and they never had us in together again. They were like, "Oh, that was such a fun session." It took forever. So a lot of times the animation will be in, whenever we did the Transformers Prime cartoon, we were all there, which was cool because there's Frank Welker and Peter Cullen and Kevin Michael Richardson and Steve Bloom and Darren Norris. And you're like, me. I'm like, how did I get in this room? This is so cool.
There's a lot of questions about you playing Deadpool. Can you talk about that experience?
It was crazy. It was the first time we voiced him was Hulk vs. Wolverine, and the producers I was on a show called Wolverine and the X-Men, which was, and I was Cyclops and a couple other characters, and they came to me, the same producers did the movie, and they came to me and they said, "We recorded this, and we had a guy who played Deadpool," and I said, "Oh, Deadpool was a cool character," and they said, "Yeah, well, he did a great job, but it's not exactly what we want, and we realized what we want is what you do between takes at Wolverine and the X-Men." And I said, "You mean goofing around?" They said, "Yeah, your sick, twisted humor, that's what he is." And I said, "Okay," so we went in, they would show me the scene, and I'd hear what the guy said. They said, "But don't say what he says, just say whatever you want." And so much of that was ad-lib. Like, "Hey, Wolverine, I shot you right in the ass." Those kind of things. "Rockabye, bang!" These little things, because I would watch him walking, and you'd see him looking at the clones and the goo. They're walking down that hallway to my hand, and I called them. I didn't know what they were, so I was like, "Hey, what do you say after this job? Go shoot those floating babies." It's like, And they were like, yeah, that's it.
Yeah. That's just random enough to work.
Yeah, exactly. And it did. And I remember seeing Fred Tatasciore, who played Hulk. He came to me, he said, oh, they debuted it at San Diego Comic-Con, and I didn't go that year. And he got back, he said, that movie killed, and Deadpool, people are talking about it. I said, really? And he's like, oh yeah. And just to the little guy, like, I'm alive. And then, so then when the game came up, we ended up making up a bunch of stuff where I called me to be in the game and F off myself. And how many people get to cuss themselves out like that?
Yeah.
Completely schizophrenic. And doing that game, if you play the game,
You know, basically, he goes from here, down to the more mature voice, to the more immature voice, and back and forth. Like, who wants pizza? I want pizza. I want burgers.
and they said, well, let's record all the ones like this, and then all the ones. I said, no, let's jump back and forth. It'll be zany and schizophrenic and fun, and that's what we did. So it was that job was insane. I hope the movie and its success leads Activision to say, let's do another game.
Yeah, the game that came out before the movie, like 2 years before or whatever, was like, it was great, but now that it has this huge mass appeal, I think it would just be...
They re-released it.
For the PS4.
Yeah, around the time of the movie, but there is something with the rights to it. Like Activision and Marvel don't have an agreement right now.
Give the rights back to Marvel!
Give the rights.
Really? I didn't know that.
Yeah, it was actually not on sale for like a year because the contract expired and there was a whole thing with it. But apparently they resolved it enough to re-release it.
Yeah, people don't realize how much red tape there is just in the business. It makes things go away. Like, that was a hit show.
Yeah.
And they sold. The parent company sold something.
Yeah.
Well, here's a very general Twitter question from Kool-Aid Killa.
Kool-Aid Killer always asks those general questions.
Yeah, Kool-Aid Killa asks, well, what is your favorite movie from the last 5 years? Or just ever?
Yeah, just favorite movie.
My favorite movie?
Yeah.
Oh, I can't do that. There's too many categories. I mean, comedies. I mean, I Christmas Vacation, I watch every Christmas. That's like the staple.
Yeah.
Caddyshack is still one of my favorite comedies. But then getting serious, Shawshank Redemption was crazy good. But Star Wars was like changed my life. You know, that was and you hear that from so many people. And in the last 5 years, I mean, Force Awakens. Are you kidding me?
Yeah.
It's like I went to the open on Friday. We went to the midnight Thursday show with like my kids, and we were like, they had school the next day. We're like, you're missing school.
Yeah. You're missing school because we're going again tomorrow.
Uncle JJ just made a movie. We don't call him that. But I wish he did.
Yeah, so you worked on Star Trek 2.
Into
Are
Darkness.
you involved in the new one at all?
It was so cool. I was doing a job with, and I didn't realize it was J.J. Abrams was in the room, and then he found out. Somebody told him something, and he said, "Wait, you're Nathan Drake," and we ended up calling his son. He and his son played Uncharted over and over, and I had done Young Justice with Bruce Greenwood. Bruce Greenwood was Captain Commander Pike in the movies, the Star Trek movies, and he played Batman in Young Justice. Was it Young? Yeah, Young Justice. And he, yeah, that's right.
Don't get it wrong. This is
I want to make sure
forever.
Yeah, no. And so when I said, JJ looked at me. He said, "Hey, man, thanks so much for calling him and talking to me. I owe you one." I said, "Oh, well, throw me on the Enterprise with Greenwood. Well, we're even." And he just looked at me and goes, "Hey, you want to be in the movie?" And I went, "What?"
That's how Hollywood really works.
And I said, "What?" He said, "Yeah." He said, "You can't play, Kirk, but find your spot." I'm like, "Oh, I'd love to audition." He goes, "No, you got it. I know you can act. You're fine."
Yeah.
And it was cool because I showed it was 2 weeks, and I had a few lines, but one made the cut of the movie. But it was 2 weeks, and they built a starship in a like a room like this. You walk on this bridge, and I looked at him. And he said, "It's pretty cool, huh?" And I'm like, "This console cost more than I did." He goes, "A lot more than you." But he's the nicest. He's the nicest guy. He's the most down to earth guy, and he's a genius.
Yeah.
And I hope I can get to do something more substantial with him someday. But that was
pretty substantial.
But it was a great memory,
Yeah.
And just running in Simon Pegg, we'd run through the other things. If you ever watch it, Simon Pegg's the one who phases me and stuns me. And I told JJ, I said, one of these takes I'm going to do the Shatner twist. You understand? He goes, do it. So like one time, I didn't use it, but rephasing me, I went, and he was like, yeah, that was ridiculous. Don't do that again. It was funny, And then, but it was cool. It was good fun, I got to smoke a cigar with Peter Weller. It's RoboCop. RoboCop's right to my left. It's like it's RoboCop.
Hey, Prickly Face, we gotta take a quick break there, Prickly Face. Stop fucking around with that shit tier razor that you picked up at the bodega for way more than it's actually worth, you chump.
Yeah.
You're better than that. You deserve better than that. Give yourself a good clean shave at a great price by switching over to Harry's Razors.
If you're wondering how Elliot literally shaved off his entire beard a couple weeks ago, Harry's razors. He didn't even trim it first. It just came right off.
I just looked at the razor.
Yeah, it ran away. It was like, nah, I don't want to mess with Harry's. Yeah. He's a tough guy. Anyways, Harry's makes their own high-quality razors and ships them directly to your mailbox, cutting out the middleman and passing the savings on to you. It's another service that just walks up to your door. You don't gotta leave. Play your video games. Anyways, when we say savings, we're talking around half the price of the typical leading brand supermarket razors.
Harry's Razors features 5 German-crafted blades, a flex hinge, and a lubricated strip with quality guaranteed.
That's a guarantee.
That means if you order Harry's Razors and aren't 100% satisfied, they'll give you a full refund. They are that confident in their ability to cut tiny hairs off your pretty face better than anyone else. Harry's starter set is known as the Truman. It costs $15 and it gets you the razor handle, 3 Harry's blades, and Harry's own moisturizing shave cream, which is honestly some of the best shave cream out there. It treats your skin right, and it doesn't leave it all raw the way some shittier shave creams can do if you have sensitive skin.
Listen, I don't have to shave that often. Maybe twice a week if my facial hair is feeling a bit prickly. Hey, we want some fresh air. So, but when I do, that's the good thing about me though, is I get to order it and then go, you know what? I'll give you a shout in a couple months. These 3 razors are gonna last me a long time. So if you have a face like mine that does not grow hair, you're gonna get a lot more use out of it than you think. Keep it for a year, you'll have razors for life. How about you, Elliot?
I go through razors a lot faster than that, except I don't, because I barely shave. But I do shave around my neck.
You gotta clean up.
The Harry's razors there, it's so smooth. It's like, did that even get any hair? And I look at it, it's like, oh, it got all the hair. Because it's a good blade.
Yes. Anyways, Harry's has a special offer just for you. You guys, the fans of this show. Go over to harrys.com, look at the Truman starter set, put it in your cart and check it out. And we'll give you the promo code ETC. Put that in at checkout. You're gonna save $5 off of the already low $15 standard price. Did we stutter? No. That basically makes it just $10.
Yeah.
That's like going and buying a shitty razor at the store. How can you pass this up?
Yeah, so use promo code ETC at checkout at harrys.com and save $5. And not only that, keep this in mind. When you guys actually visit our sponsors and use the promo code, that tells them that their money went to good use sponsoring us, and it helps us pay for the show by bringing in more advertisers. So.
And we can buy a better audio system next time for this Nolan North podcast.
Yeah.
So one last time, harrys.com, promo code ETC, save $5. Let's get back to the show. But guys, it's a great deal. $10 and you get this setup. It is worth every penny. We're not shitting you.
Do you have any more of those life-changing moments that have happened in your career where you kind of take that moment and go, wow, I can't believe this is my life now?
I had one today. When people are in line, I'm like, I don't know. I'm devaluing everything I sign. You kind of have those all the time, and I think it's a good thing. I think it keeps you kind of grounded to you get too caught up in things that aren't important.
Yeah.
But the cool thing I like about coming to cons now, because I didn't do it for the longest time, because my kids were younger and were playing sports on the weekend with family time, and now they don't care.
Dad, get out of here.
Father's Day, like, see you, beat it.
I'm gonna go hang out with my friends.
I want a new pair of jeans. That's so stupid. It's really cool because you realize that how much this silly entertainment business affects people and how much fun it can be. And I've met Steve Bloom was telling me about some people from the military who these soldiers told him, we love Call of Duty. you guys, Dempsey and Richthofen, you guys are so funny. He says, oh, you play? And he goes, oh, we play after firefights, man. And we went, the story, he told him, he said, these soldiers in Afghanistan would go out in Iraq, he said, yeah, we've been in firefights and come back and, we'll try to clean up. And then somebody says, hey, we got a Wi-Fi connection. He said every now and then a satellite would fly over and we'd get one for a while. And everybody would soldiers would go and play the Call of Duty Zombies, multiplayer kind of stuff with their kids. Or their friends back home, or their wives. And it's like, he said, man, you played a shoot 'em up game after going out and really shooting 'em up?
Yeah.
He said, man, it kept us grounded. It was really cool. It's a great way to decompress and connect your people back home. And I was like, and I had never conceived of that. And I'm not saying we are changing the world, but you realize that, it's not just, gaming used to be headphones, basement, maybe some drugs. I don't know. And now it's like my niece, she's like, okay, she works with a lot of doctors and everything. She said the surgeon in Florida, he's like, if he can ever get me something from the Penguin, and she's like, you're joking. He goes, for your son? Who? And she goes, no, me. He's a surgeon. He's like a heart surgeon. I think he's a pediatric heart surgeon, something ridiculous, way off the chart smart. Just loves the Penguin, loves to play Arkham games.
That's crazy.
Really. So it's men, women, kids, adults. Apparently somebody's grandfather in England plays with his grandkids back in California, plays Uncharted multiplayer, and he's good. But that's all he does now, and it's like he just whips ass on these kids.
It's crazy. So my girlfriend's dad, he's a retired Vietnam veteran, and we have the best relationship because after I met him, he was like, I went over to her house for Christmas, and he's like, yeah, come check out my Fallout thing that I built in Fallout. And I had been playing Fallout for a month, and his thing was incredible. He had built like 10 homes and that all had like power armor in them and everything. Like, we gotta play sometime on a game that's actually multiplayer. And then the Division came out, and that's why I love that game so much, is I literally get home every night and log on, and my girlfriend's 70-year-old dad, like, hey, what's up? Hey, man, you gotta come check out this thing I found. And like, he'll take me around and we'll just go through this game for hours every night.
That's so cool.
And it's like, it's just crazy to like, I don't know, it's crazy that, I like hearing that like the soldiers get to spend time with their family via
it blew me away,
like
right? I mean, it just blew me away that they would do that.
You're a hero.
I'm nothing compared, but I mean, seriously, I think that's really cool.
Yeah.
So how do your kids feel about their dad's voice appearing in games like Uncharted? Does it make them more or less likely to play them?
Nathan Drake's so baggy.
The 16-year-old loves Uncharted. He likes playing the multiplayer. He's been fortunate enough to meet the Naughty Dog developers, and now they'll play multiplayer with him.
Yeah.
So he gets a little inside scoop on that. He gets more mileage out of my small role on Pretty Little Liars. Because all the girls in school are like, that's your dad.
You bet your ass it is.
And my other son, he's Destiny. He loves Destiny.
Yeah.
So, when I took over for Ghost, he was like stoked about that. But it's a little disconcerting walking through the house, and, especially Uncharted 3. Like, no, Nate, no. Like, stop killing me. You don't get better at that game, you're grounded.
Yeah. They just walk your character off a cliff.
Yeah, that happens a lot, but when I find out my wife is playing.
Look who's in control now, Dad.
Yeah, they don't do that, she does.
Yeah.
Hey, what are you? Oh, she's like. Can I take out the trash now?
Do your kids want to follow in the same career path as their father?
The 16-year-old thinks so. He'd like to, but he's really can draw anything. Like, you should look into animation.
Yeah.
Yeah, he doesn't do it. We're not doing it professionally or anything, because I think it's just gives plenty of time to get serious about it. But yeah, he does a lot of theater in school, and he directs some things with his friend. They have film studies in school, and thinks he wants to go to college for film. Like, I don't know. It's like, so I don't know. But I hope they don't. But because there's a lot, people don't realize there's so much luck involved in getting a break as an actor.
Yeah.
And I always kind of operate on the mode that the best actor may still be waiting tables because he just didn't get that opportunity. And who knows? And that's why you got to kind of keep it in perspective. I can't believe I'm here. I can't believe I do these things because there's an incredible amount of luck. And then talent may sustain a career, but you know, you can be really talented if you don't get the opportunity. I mean, there were a lot of people who were probably better suited or better actors at the time went up for Nathan Drake, but for whatever reason, I got that role and it changed my life. So
well, it's like this crazy generation now where like everything's accessible and you're able to do those creations on YouTube and stuff like that. It would make a lot of sense for him to like do animation and also be the voice to that. Like they had Oni NG here, which I know that a bunch of you know, and his cartoons are like incredible, and it's gotten better over time. And so you're literally doing your own school.
I think it's great. For what I've told them, just do everything.
Yeah.
We're shooting season 2 of Con Man that I did season 1, and season 2 it was on Vimeo. It's now on iTunes, and it's Alan Tudyk and Nathan Fillion created it. Our executive producers PJ Harsman. I shot my scenes last week. I'm shooting next week as well for season 2, and we're coming up. I'm producing my first game with them. They brought me on as a producer for Con Man the Game. It's a mobile app game where you make your own convention, and all the characters from the show are part of it. So we're going to debut that this end of the summer, early fall, and we're excited about it because I get as a developer sends me so I can play now to kind of look for bugs and things. It's like, what time? It's 3 in the morning. I'm still playing.
And
I have to empty these trash cans. My congoers are upset. Oh, aliens attacked. Gotta get my cosplayers to come in and take care of that. Oh, my boot's on fire. And you take care. It's so much fun.
Yeah.
So it's. I think my point is, I brought him to work. They invited him to come in there and work, and he's pulling cable. He's laying down, working with the lighting, and he just expose him to everything. There's so many real careers in this business. That you can be a DP, be one of those guys shooting the films or directors. So
I think we want to do some audience questions. There's a microphone right back there. See the guy pointing to it? Line up there if you have a question for Nolan North. Sweet. And if you have any questions on how to run a D-level YouTube show,
they don't. They don't care.
We're on YouTube, Nolan.
I have questions about YouTube.
Do you ask us a question about YouTube, Nolan?
How do you start getting a show on YouTube?
You log into your Google account, go to youtube.com.
Hit the upload button. No, it was a kind of a weird situation for us. We kind of started out doing just editing, and then we started writing, and then there was a space that opened up because someone left, and they're like, hey, can you guys already write and kind of edit the show? Would you mind taking over? And we were like, well, at first we were like, no, because people are just going to make fun of us in the comments.
They did.
They did.
For about a year.
About a year. And then,
you get used to that, don't you?
Yeah, no, I just stopped. I look sometimes if I want to feel depressed today. I'm going to go.
Yeah.
I think I'm flying too high.
I take that to heart.
All right.
What's up?
I was wondering if you would do the Richthofen voice.
Yes, of course I will do the Richthofen voice for you, my friend. You have to understand that Dempsey and Nikolai and Tikeos, they won't be here, but I am, because Dr. Maxis wills it that way. So, sit down or it will be stabby time.
Thank you.
Obviously, you're very well known for your video game work, as this weekend will attest. When you go to cons, is it any different of a feeling for you when somebody goes, hey, you were in Star Trek Into Darkness?
The guy who didn't blink when I was on, it's great. You know what's crazy about that is, I like that. It's usually Trekkies. I've had people come up with pictures, stills, that 3 seconds I'm on frame. It's like power coming online, sir. That's it. I had others, but it didn't make the cut. Somebody came up. I have a trading card. Vengeance, the USS Vengeance bridge officer, and it's a trading card of that one still. I'm like, I have a trading card for Star Trek? People, yeah, you should sell those. I'm like, what? I had a line.
Yeah.
And I never wanted to be that guy sitting at a table going, I was the bridge officer. The Sharpie and no line.
Yeah.
But, no, it's cool. It was, the great thing about it was just fun. It was just fun. And the residuals are pretty cool, too. It's because I was there. My God, I was there for 2 weeks for one line. But, I'm in the back of all those scenes. And the cool thing about that job, too, is I had never shot a 3D movie. And what we do is at the end of a take, people in the foreground leave. And in the background, they take another picture, another run of the take of the background, and then they layer that somehow. I don't know, but I remember I had to stay for the 3D because I was in the back, and then it was so cool. And I had been stunned, and I purposely laid down on the ground like this so I could watch Benedict Cumberbatch smash his head. Yeah, that's badass! I'm like, yeah, I'm up there.
Did you watch other scenes when you were on set just to get that experience?
Well, yeah. Well, there's everything that was we had to basically it's literally a starship, and out there where the cameras are there's a big green screen, and so they're back there doing their thing, shooting at us this way. And then when Chris Pine would have to come up, and he just stood in front of Weller when they're supposed to be talking through the on screen, that kind of thing. He's not really there, so he's just sitting there talking to him, and just and I'm just supposed to be watching it, but he's right there, and I'm supposed to be watching it on the screen. It was just a fun experience. I had never done a big movie like that. I mean, that is $100 million plus budget. That was like, wow, great food. Food was outstanding.
Yeah.
And it was amazing because, and then you'd walk to the next set. Here's the cool thing about that movie. We used to have to put on, it was the middle of the summer, and we'd have to put on like those swimmers coats, the hood, and cover up, so all you could see were the boots to go to the bathroom. Because there were people trying to take pictures everywhere we went of what the outfits looked like, everything. It was so locked down secret. I couldn't read the whole script. They only gave me the scenes that I was in. And again, there was more than one line. So I had a few pages, but I had to go to the studio, go with somebody, a handler, who would give me the script. I'd read it, I'd give it back to him, he'd shred it, I'd have to sign out, and then leave. But he had to sit there and watch me read it, so he didn't say I didn't take pictures of it. It was like lockdown. It was crazy. It was cool. It's like Mission Impossible. All right, go ahead.
Hello.
Hi.
So, as always, love your work as Nathan Drake, and you definitely creeped the hell out of me as David Velasquez.
Tiny little pieces, honey. Tiny little pieces.
Well, considering that there's a lot of after the crossover fan fiction, fan art of The Last of Us and Uncharted, how would as Nathan would react to seeing a clicker for the first time?
He'd shoot it. Shoot it, and he'd climb something to get out of the way.
He's very nimble.
Sorry, Sully. Kid, no! Clicker, yeah. I don't want to see a clicker.
Nobody does.
I kept saying that to him. I said, what's with your game with the mushroom people? It's a clicker. Mushroom folks. Mushroom heads.
Hello. Would you ever consider taking the role as Nathan Drake in the Uncharted film?
Yeah, I would, but I think by the time they make that, I'd be old enough to be Sully. I don't think they're going to make a movie. I mean, people tend to talk about it.
It's actually been confirmed to be coming out next year in the summer.
I don't think so.
No.
I think that might have changed. We did a story on it a couple of weeks ago.
It's changed hands so many times.
That movie's changed, yeah, it has, and I actually know that, I think I could be wrong, but the last I heard that had been shelved, especially since Indiana Jones 5 has been confirmed.
Yeah.
You do not want to go up against that. You'll crash and burn like Ratchet and Clank if you do that.
Or like Harrison Ford trying to fly a plane.
Wow. He didn't burn.
Listen,
he didn't burn.
Nolan North doesn't know about our show. That is not dark compared to a lot of the stuff that.
No, I really don't know about that because I would always consider it, but they're going to need a movie star. They want it just sells tickets overseas, and they wouldn't want to do that. And also, you don't want to hire somebody who's 45, and to do something that may run 10 years. Because 55, I won't be able to run. So, so you want to get somebody. I actually, when I worked with Chris Pine, I always thought he would be great because he's a good actor. They offered Chris Pratt the role, but he turned it down because he did that character in Guardians. That's a Nathan Drake type character. Somebody said Liam Hemsworth. I thought, yeah, I could see that look. I don't know, but he's younger. You want to get someone who can sustain a franchise. The problem that I see with that is that they were trying to redo Drake's Fortune, and people say these are already movies. Do what Assassin's Creed did. Take those characters from that world and give them a new story. Like they're doing with Assassins. Don't try to remake the game story because it's already kind of a movie.
Yeah, it really is.
And it's a movie that's better than a movie because you get to be the hero. I mean, I was the actor who did it, but quite frankly, whoever has that controller is Nathan Drake, right? I mean, you get to be that. It's interactive. You're watching that cinematic cutscene. You're that in that moment. Going to watch it for 2 hours, like,
where's my controller?
Turns out to be kind of a letdown. I think they should try to look to get movies and turn them into games. Go the opposite way, because games into movies, rarely does it work. Resident Evil, there's a couple that do it okay because, it's a genre type thing, but turn out, like I think, what's her name? Hold on, I'll get it. Elizabeth Salander, Girl with the Dragon Tattoo.
Oh yeah.
That could be a cool game. You think about it, if you read the book or you saw any of the movies, that could be a cool game where, and again, it'd be a female lead character, which, they need more of those. I'd be the guy to do it.
Yeah.
Badass. No, because that would be, there's intrigue, there's shoot 'em, it's dark. That'd be a very cool game. You could do something like that. But I don't know, because last I heard through people like Seth Gordon dropped out, they just shelved it. They don't want to do the movie, especially. And there's no way it's coming out next year because they're not in production. It takes 2.5 years before you can get a movie going. So, I don't know where you read that, but it's like, I think the last I heard, they confirmed that it's coming out next year.
Because we did a story on it recently, and there was news about, I think, a Naughty Dog property, but I think in that, if I can remember correctly, they were like, these ones are still
I don't know,
on
maybe
the back
I'll have to look it up. I'll ask some people that I know have said that was kind of, but who knows, it'd be great to see, nobody's contacted me, so.
Next up.
What was your favorite line from Richthofen?
There's so many. He's had so many great lines. The writers of that are so great. It's stabby time was always just like I was like stabby because it's stabby time, and I was like, let's say stabby time. It's stab. And anytime I talk about the monkeys, why does the monkey sit there when it knows it belongs to him? I don't know. It's stupid. Little things like that. There have been so many. Sometimes I'll get people want me to sign their. Can you put your favorite Richthofen quote? I'm like, oh my God, where do I start? Wunderbar. Just anytime he says anything, or it's like, and when he yells at the crawlers, yes, come to me, my little crawler. I don't know. There's so many good ones. I'm going to go with stabby time.
Hello.
Hey guys.
Hi.
So this is pretty unrelated. I was wondering if any of you guys have any really good poop stories.
Any good what stories?
Poop stories.
Poop stories? What?
Poop stories. They can be personal or really good when you write on Reddit.
Wait, speak. You have to into the mic.
Are you saying a poop?
A poop?
Like a poop story.
A good story?
A really good poop story.
Poop story. You mean like poop?
Poop. Please take it.
Yeah. My God, that's a very specific story.
It's hard to not say anything gross.
Oh, I'll say it.
Yeah, go ahead. I'll take the lead from you because I've got some poop stories. But
I don't. Do I have a poop story? Oh, I got one right now. Well, Well, you know what? It's not mine, but I once heard that George Clooney, my favorite poop story was, does everybody know the actor Richard Kind? He was on Spin City.
Yeah. Oh, he talks like this, and he's that guy.
And he and George Clooney were very good friends. They were roommates when they were starting out in, I think they were in either New York or LA, and I hope I'm getting this right, but Richard had a cat, and George didn't like the cat because they had the cat box, and he would never clean the cat box. Richard, get in there, clean after your cat. He's like, oh, look, Kitty's doing it. And apparently, one day he was in there, and he saw the cat, so he cleaned up after the cat. And he'd done it, and then the next day he was in the bathroom again. He said, the cat again. So he started to do it, and then apparently Richard walked in, and he was concerned. He goes, what's wrong? He goes, oh, he said, Kitty hasn't gone to the bathroom for a couple of days. I'm worried about her. And Clooney's twisted mind went, and he kept cleaning up after the cat, like the next few days. And Richard just kept getting more and more upset. Oh, my Kitty, I think I got to get him. And I'm sure he's fine, but he's eating, he's not going. I mean, he's looking around. And then finally, at the height of his thing, Clooney went in and did his business in the cat box. and then covered it up, and all of a sudden, and Richard came home, and at this point of the whole fiasco, it was his daily ritual to come home and rush right to the bathroom to see if Kitty had gone. And he ran in there, and George was just sitting there, and he just ran in, and all of a sudden you hear, oh my God, Kitty! And I hope that's a true story, because that's what I heard. And I love solid story. And I love George Clooney, and I love George Clooney, and if that's the truth, because I know he's a prankster. I've heard he's a prankster. And it's a guy I would love to work with someday, just to say, is that true? True or not, it's the best poop story I know. So there you go.
I can't top.
I can't top.
Thank you for that amazing
Great question.
We got a great story out of it. It was
did.
great. Yeah.
You got a George Clooney.
Yeah.
Moving on from that,
Good setup.
out of anyone that you worked with, who was your favorite person to work with?
Oh, wow. That's, I've had a lot of really good people.
Some of the favorite.
Richard McGonigal is right up there. Everybody in Uncharted, Emily Rose, Richard McGonigal, and everybody on that was great. Emily Rose and I became really good friends, through her playing Elena, and then I went out to do her show in Nova Scotia, Haven, where the two of us were in an episode. Graham McTavish is pretty great because he makes you better. He's such a good actor. And he's become such a good friend, and I have so much admiration for him. But yeah, they're just everybody. I don't know. I've worked with so many really great people, and you take a little bit from everybody, on camera and just in voiceover stuff. It's really cool. God, I could go on forever. Right now when we do the Turtles show, I'm in there with Sean Astin and Rob Paulson and Seth Green and Greg Sipes, and I'm doing the crack, something, and they're like, man. But just to sit there with that room. I remember the first time I sat one time next to Sean, and I brought this thing, and I go, hey, after this thing, let's go get One-Eyed Willie. And I pulled up at a thing on Esme, he's like, and the people I get to work with in Con Man, Alan Tudyk has always been one of my favorite actors, and he's now a good friend, and working with him and Phil Ann, and Mindy Sterling is in that with us. It's pretty cool. We brought a ton of people into that. I remember at San Diego Comic-Con, we were doing this big debut. We have this Entertainment Weekly party, and then next thing I know, I'm sitting down at dinner, and Edward James Olmos is right there. He's like, hi, Edward. I'm like, I know. Stand and deliver. Battlestar Galactica. And he's like the coolest guy, just so chill. He's like the most, he should be drinking Dos Equis because he's the most interesting.
They need a new guy.
Yeah, they're retiring the most interesting man. So
they have to find the second most interesting man. You should try out for that.
Yeah.
You're very interesting.
I don't always drink. I'm not that guy.
I think they said that we have time for just one more, so... That's you.
Make it count.
Yeah.
No
Who's going to be the stupidest question you get today?
Oh, doubt it.
Will you
say crap in the Nathan Drake voice?
Yeah, it's not the stupid. I get that a lot. But Nathan Drake's voice is just me. So. We only have time for one more question? Oh, crap.
So whoever was behind her, if you want to get back up and ask her one. There you go.
There, Star Wars, go.
Hi.
Hello.
Hold on, one more time. Oh, crap. We have to climb that? Crap.
You said you're a fan of Star Wars. It changed
Oh, yeah.
your life. Who shot first?
Han.
Yes.
I think that's settled.
Thank you.
Of course he did. And in fact, you know who told me he shot first? Peter Mayhew. I got to have lunch with Chewbacca. I'm like, hey, what's up with that whole Han shot? He said, Han shot first. I'm like, of course he did.
Yeah.
Of course he did. Wouldn't you? You know, this cool thing, I was at a con, and the guy was in line, and he had a shirt, and I just looked at him, I go, I love that shirt. I love that. And it was Deadpool. He goes, and it was Deadpool dressed like Han Solo. And he said, I shot first and second. And the next day, the guy came up with the shirt. He goes, but no, that before he got to he came back after I met him and everything with the shirt. And he said, I sent my son to get me another shirt. Here, you have it.
Wow.
He hadn't washed it. And I still haven't washed it.
Okay. All right, well, awesome. Thank you so much for joining us today. Thanks, everyone.
All right, guys, I hope you enjoyed the podcast, but quick question.
Yeah.
How's your back? How's your neck? How well did you sleep last night?
Well, mine feel fine, and I slept great.
As do I, but if their answer to any of those questions was not good.
Not great, Bob.
You probably need a new mattress from Casper, a sleep brand that created the perfect mattress. It's made in America, and it's sold directly to customers without all the hassles of going to the goddamn mattress store and dealing with all the bullshit inflation-driven prices.
And the sales guys, they're relentless.
Yeah.
I hate the pressure. Anyways, Casper mattresses combine latex and memory foam to create a surface that has just the right amount of sink in and just the right amount of bounce. Plus, it's got a very breathable design which will keep you nice and cool during those hot summer nights that are coming up. I love it so far this summer. It's been great. The lunatics at Casper engineered these things obsessively, and they're offering them at shockingly low prices. So I know some of you are probably still in college and stuff like that, and you're just sleeping on a hand-me-down or
pile
whatever,
of clothes.
or whatever the fucking college gave you. But mattresses that you buy in store when you're an actual adult, they can cost you well over $1,500. Casper sells their twin, because you're a lonely son of a bitch, for $500. Their full is $750. Their queen, once you get a girlfriend, is $850. And once you start making that real man money, upgrade to the king. That's $950.
Or get whatever mattress you want.
Yeah, it's fine.
All those prices also include free shipping to the US and Canada, so extra special. Go ahead and Google some other mattress prices from other companies. We'll wait.
That's the thing. You see all these idiots driving down the road with the mattresses just latched onto the top of their cars like morons.
Oh.
This thing shows up at your house, you throw it in your bedroom, you cut it open, it goes...
It explodes.
It doesn't
You're gonna want to clear the room out.
It inflates very nicely. I've slept on my Casper now for over a year,
Same.
and it is the best mattress I've ever owned.
It has changed my life
It really
in a
has.
lot of ways. I used to have a lot of back and neck problems.
I used to want to jump out of bed in the morning because it hurt. Now, I come into work late because I feel so good.
Well,
Just don't miss any class or
yeah.
whatever.
So, Time magazine named Casper's mattresses one of the best inventions of 2015, and it's already the most award-winning mattress of the decade. Casper is so confident in their product that they're willing to let you try a Casper mattress for 100 nights, risk-free, in your own home, and if you don't love it, they'll just come and pick it up and refund the whole damn thing. And for viewers of our show, they're sweetening the deal even more by offering you $50 off towards any mattress purchase. You gotta go visit casper.com/TheETC.
Sure.
That's THEETC.
Yeah.
Use the offer code, TheETC, THEETC at checkout.
Yes. Here's what I have to say about the Casper mattress. It's fantastic, and I know that you've seen the imitators out there because I have too. There wouldn't be imitators of this mattress if it wasn't fucking good. So take our word for it.
Yeah.
Go to that link, use the code THEETC, get your own, use it for 100 days. I swear to God, you won't give it back. I had the same thing with I bought a Roomba, a little robot, and I was like, you know what? Probably gonna hate it. I'm just gonna return it when it's done. Thing works great. Same thing with the mattress. I'll give it a shot, see if it works. How could it be so good for the price? Slept on it, and I will never get rid of this.
Yeah.
In fact, I'll probably be upgrading soon.
It's awesome. It's changed my life. Well, I'll say it again.
Yeah.
It'll change yours. It'll turn you into a better man or woman. And people will be
By the way,
more likely to sleep in your bed with you if you have one of these mattresses.
it's great for
Catch my
sex
drift.
too. It doesn't. There's nothing going on that's gonna ruin the sex life that you have. You know, it's fully supportive. There's no, bumps or weird spots in it.
No springs gonna pop up.
They're not gonna pop up and hit you in the face.
gooch.
Yeah, it's great.
Anyway,
Yeah, go there.
Terms and conditions apply.